Hi everyone, it's Ailey from Design Break here, and today I'm going to share with you my top Adobe Illustrator workflow tips. I'm a designer. I've been using Illustrator for over 10 years now. It's such a big app. There's so many different workflows and shortcuts that you can use, but these are the ones that I go back to every day, time and time again. Some of these might seem super simple, but hopefully there'll be a little nugget in there that you don't know about. Tip 1 is to make the canvas white. So by default it's grey like it is here, but if you go into Illustrator, Preferences, User Interface, and then just select white here and hit OK, it'll change your canvas background colour to white. So this is really handy if you're sketching designs, but you like to keep your artboards nice and neat, so you can do that up here off of the artboard and then just use your artboard for more final iterations. My second tip is using the trim view. So this is actually meant for if you're doing a print design that's got a bleed in it. So say this is your print design and you're extending it out to the bleed. It doesn't give you a good idea of the safe space around the design because you're seeing the extra there that would normally be cut off. So if you go into view and then just click trim view, that'll crop everything that you see to just the artboard spaces, like that. So it's especially good if you use your canvas to sketch on, but you don't like seeing that cluttered view as well. You can just turn it on to trim view and then you just see what is on your artboard, so it keeps everything looking nice and neat. And tip number 3 is paste in place. So this is maybe a really obvious one, but it's probably the one that I use the most. So it's really good if you're doing mock-ups and you've got your logo on one certain bit of the artboard and you want to have it in the same position on all artboards, but you want to change something else about the design. So just Command C to copy, make sure your artboard is selected, and then go to the artboard you want to paste it to. Command F and it'll paste it in the exact same place, and you can do that across all of your artboards, and then you've got everything in the exact same place and you can play around with the rest of the design. Tip number 4 is transform again. So this is really handy for creating actual shapes and logos and graphics and things like that. So it just redoes the transform that you previously just carried out based on the copy that you made. So if I just draw a box here and hold down Option to copy it, and I just dragged it, so that was just a position change, and then Command D to transform again with my object selected. It will copy it with the transform that I just did. So that's a really basic example. You can use it for circles, for doing a rotate. So I've opened up my rotate dialog box and I want to rotate these two circles, which I've grouped by 30 degrees. So just hit the copy button and you can see it's copied it there and pasted it with a 30-degree rotation. So if I just do Command D, it'll keep on carrying out that transform with the 30-degree transform based on the new copy. So it's good for iterating designs and building up shapes with geometric transforms. Tip number 5 is naming artboards. So you might have heard how important it is to name your layers in Photoshop and stuff, but naming artboards is super handy when you're exporting out a logo pack. So for example, I've got these logos here. I've made each one an artboard, and these are all obviously different versions of the logo, and I'm going to export these. Once I've exported them, I don't want to have to go back into my file and rename them, so I can just name the artboard right here. That'll tack on what you name onto the end of the file, so it would be your document name and then the artboard will be at the end once you've exported. Tip number 6 is split up into grid. This is really handy for creating guides, and I always do it on a new layer as well, so that you can easily hide your guides, turn them off and on, and things like that. So to create a new layer, on your new layer, just draw a box the size of your artboard if that's where you want your guides to be. Go into Object, path and then split up into grid. That'll open up a dialog box, and if you hit preview you can see what it's going to look like. So I can make a 12 column grid, and really handy, you can add a gutter in there so you can do that. You can add guides as well and it'll generate the guides for you, but I normally just do it just as it is, and then you can extend this really easily, make it a bit transparent, and then you can really easily lock that layer because you made it into a new layer so you're not accidentally selecting it, and then you can really easily turn it on and off as you're designing, so that's super handy. Tip number 6 is clipping masks and alpha masks. So clipping masks probably seems really obvious, but alpha masks get kind of interesting. So I'll just show you a clipping mask. Let's pick some nicer colors. So clipping masks are handy for images, but it's also handy for having different background shapes. So I've grouped these circles, send them to the back, and I just want to crop it to this square, so I'm only seeing a small bit. So with your grouped object on the bottom that you want to clip, select your top object, which is going to be the mask, and just do make clipping mask, and then you've got that clipped there. Something I didn't know until relatively recently, if you have a gradient, you can clip, you can make it into an alpha mask, so then you've got the transparency in there as well, dependent on the gradient on top. So that's really handy. It saves you having to make another box on top of that image with a gradient to fade it. It just fades it right in there, which saves some time. Okay, that's my top 6 or 7 Adobe Illustrator tips to improve efficiency. I hope there's something useful. If you've got a tip that I didn't mention that you really love, comment below. I'd love to hear your favourite Illustrator shortcuts. Okay, thanks. See you next time.